And we are live. I know there's always a few seconds delay, so we should be live. Hello. Welcome to the first sale of 2024. And yeah, this one's at a bit of a different day and time just because my life still is a little wonky. Now, I want to go to my channel. For those of you joining me for the first time tonight, I always need to set things up so that I can see the chat on the laptop, which is literally just behind the computer, so that way I can see everything clearly, because it's kind of hard to see even with the bifocals, the chat on the phone. Come on, I need to get into live chat. Hello, Nancy, how are you? Yeah, first one in, darling. Hello. I know it's been a long break. I completely missed that fourth quarter. Be making that up the rest of the year for sure. Linda's here. Hi, Linda. So we had a live chat last week, and I promised you there'd be a small sale. Tonight, we're going to start slow and cautious because this is the first evening that I've been down here. It took all of yesterday to kind of recover from Thursday because I did too much Thursday. And now I know that, you know, if I have physical therapy, which I will have Tuesdays and Thursdays, don't do anything. Don't go anywhere. Don't go out, you know, don't. Don't do anything that involves climbing stairs, walking around a lot. I now know not to do that again on a Tuesday or a Thursday. So, because that was the mistake this past Thursday. It was the first, Tuesday was the evaluation for physical therapy for my foot, and Thursday was the first full time, like full on therapy. And what killed me was actually they put me on a bicycle and they tried to make my knees reach my girls, had my knees lifting really high. And I've gone 2 months without walking around on my feet, you know, because the plantar stuff needed to heal and it's very slowed for swelling to go down. So those muscles aren't ready for this. And on the left side, I had that mini stroke. So that upper thigh muscle has never wanted to keep that, and the bicep up here. They've never wanted to keep muscle mass. So those were just, by the time we got to me having to go to the Scoutmasters meeting that night, my legs were already twinging, you know, a little bit like that. By the time we came home and I got into the house, my legs were doing that. You know how when they're so exhausted, you could feel all the muscles and it feels like your legs are jello and they're vibrating? That's what I felt like. And I went, I can't get back down the stairs to do a live on Thursday. So I had to postpone you guys till tonight. I thought about doing it Friday night, but I thought, you know, there's so many other channels that go late on Friday nights. So I thought I would surprise everybody, do it at 10 o'clock. And hello, RJ. Oh, I hear a kitty. Hi. Which one is it? I just see a gray tail. I don't know which one of the twins it is. Who is it? You gonna come say hello, or are you gonna just keep disappearing into under the table? Hey, you gonna come say hello? Come here. Which one are you? Oh, it's himself. Come here, Aragorn. Come on. Oh, come on. Say hello to everybody. They've not seen you in months. Look how big I've gotten. Oh, yes, I know. You want to get down. He's your honey. Yeah, you like the twins, don't you, Nora? You like Aragorn and Arwen. Not onto the keyboard, no. Tell you what, go back under the card table. I had enough fun because when I have not been down here, and I got down here, and the light that normally sits up there was missing. It was down below, along with a couple other things that are down back behind the desk now. So, hi, Sherry. So it's been It's been fun. Finding out very quickly on Thursday what I can and cannot do, and yeah, I won't be doing that again. Tuesdays and Thursdays now are going to be the don't go anywhere. Just, relax your legs so that you could still do your live on Thursday nights. Oh, you meant RJ. Well, but I know you like the kitties, so you're one of their godparents. So here's to 2024. For those of you that want to know, it is 58-year-old Scotch. Grouse whiskey from Perth, Scotland. It was a gift from the cleat out. It was only half a bottle, and I don't care. It's whiskey as old as I am. So here's to 2024. May we all have a lot more laughs and a lot better health going forward. I will gladly drink to that. Not bad. That is incredibly smooth. I've never had grouse whiskey before. That is incredibly smooth. Nice. Hi, CDC. Oh, what's wrong is that I had to not do Thursday is I have plantar fasciitis, which I got from having brand new hiking shoes and it basically my feet gave out before the shoes did. So it wasn't a case of breaking in the shoes broke my feet. And I had it in both feet, but the left foot is really bad. Like right on the arch, there's a knot that's about 3 inches long and about 1.5 inches wide, and it's just all so tight. So, but I had physical therapy Thursday and left my legs like jello, so that's why I had to cancel Thursday night. But I'm okay. I would appreciate any prayers for my brother Gary. He's not been feeling good. He's been getting weak spells off and on for, well, I would say for the entire month of December, but of course he hasn't gone to any doctors. And now, I mean, he gets these spells and then he pales out. He gets very pale. And every once in a while, he's been going and getting a blood transfusion. Well, he had a blood transfusion in November, right before Thanksgiving, but it just hasn't seemed to really help him any. He had full of life and energy for about a week and then went back to feeling lethargic. So, so he's really not been good today. I've been trying to talk him into letting me take him to the ER, and he finally agreed about, well, it's 10 o'clock now, so he finally agreed about an hour and a half ago. He'll get a good night's sleep tonight, and if he still feels this dragged out and just awful, then he'll let me take him to the ER in the morning so that hopefully they can find out what's going on. He's in the last stages of Crohn's disease. There's so many, and he doesn't eat right. When you have Crohn's, with him, they told him stay away from a lot of dairy, stay away from, don't have a lot of eggs. And so he's passive aggressive to an art form, and he's spent decades eating nothing but eggs every day, or drinking milk or green tea from Wawa. He'll drink iced tea or green tea or milk, and he's supposed to stay away from milk. So, and a vegetable only passes through his mouth if I can hide it in something else. And most of the time he doesn't eat what I cook anyway. So yeah. So you can be malnutritioned and still eat if what you're eating is subpar for, if it's literally like calories and nothing else. You can end up having, over time, your body can end up malnutrition, and he's not able to keep on weight now. And so I am really worried about him. He is 8 years older than I am. So he's the oldest of what we jokingly call the younger three, because mom had polio in between having sets of kids. So the older three were all born like 2 years, 2 years, 2 years apart. though David screwed the math up a little bit. He's like 18 months, not even, or 16 months between him and Phyllis. They're not quite 2 years apart. But then Mom had polio when David was 2, and then 2 years later had Gary, and then 4 years later Roy, 4 years later me. And at that point, after child number 6, she finally found a doctor that would agree to let her tie her tubes. Because, back in the day, you had to have half dozen kids before they'd let you do that. Yeah, green tea is higher in caffeine. It's not really the best thing for you. So I do appreciate the kind thoughts and prayers for him. So I thought I'd start off. What did my computer do? I didn't touch nothing. What did you? You guys didn't touch nothing. Had a screen pop up that I didn't put up there. What is it trying to do? It's trying to log into Facebook through Internet Explorer. I touched something, or one of you lot did, because one of them just scooted from underneath me and ran away. I don't know. It's been that kind of day. So I thought I'd start off small, keep it a small sales, and that's worked out well, considering that I will have to be up in the morning. He's always been a person who would be asleep by 9 and then awake at 5 a.m. So I know I'm going to have to be up early tomorrow. So we're going to keep this short and nice. And the post offices are closed Monday. And depending on what happens with him and how long I have to sit out there, because he always wants somebody to be there, which, until they get him in and into the waiting room in the back. And I get that. Nobody really wants to sit there alone. But, whoa! Oh, no. You cannot go overland. No, Miss Arwen. You can't go up that way. Hi, honey. No, this is not Aragorn. You know how you tell? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. It's getting tinier and tinier. There's a tiny little white dot. You can't go up that way, baby. She does not. She is not a cuddle bug. Not at all. But she just tried to leap and go up and over. And no. No avalanche right here. There's a pile of paperwork right there. But depending on when I get back from him, I'm going to stay down here. Because I don't have to go out and walk around anywhere other than here. So I'm going to stay down here as long as my foot lasts and tidy all this up and get us ready for spring. And there she goes. She's back there. And try, my plan was to get caught up, back in October and once the house cleanup was ended. But boy, that didn't go well. But she's all set. She's in her new place now. But I was over there on Thursday and had lunch with her and had to, we went through a couple of boxes because she's found that now that she doesn't have a deadline of having to be out because she's out of her house now, she's finding it hard to stay motivated. So I told her that, you got to give yourself another deadline because, you're going to have times when your granddaughter comes up and stays. And then I found out her granddaughter was coming for the weekend. But her granddaughter said that when she's done school in the spring, she wants to come stay for a week and help her out. So I said, there's your deadline. Find out when school ends. There's your deadline. Because you'll have to have, the second bedroom set up and a place for the girl to sleep. And so sometimes it helps to have a deadline. I have a couple of deadlines already on my planner because I'm not a big fan of buying off Temu, but I did buy some cat bowls for them that are the elevated ones that are up a little higher, mostly because the doctor is older and it's harder for her to crick her neck down. It's also stopping the problem of, because these bowls sit higher and then the top part is slanted, so it's this nice big scooped thing, it has stopped the problem of Gimli pushing the others out of the way to take over their bowl when it was the little flat restaurantware dishes. Junking Data Girl, hello! And Becky's Vintage, hello! So it has actually helped with that because he doesn't, you can't see it. If their face is in that bowl, he can't see if there's food still in their bowl. So he stopped pushing them out of the way to take over their food. So that's been a big help having those. They were a third of the price of what they were in the pet stores. So that was helpful. But they had a 3-year planner that was only one of these little, what is that, 5 by 8, 5 by 9 size books. Wasn't very big. And that's what I needed. I needed something that I could plan out. And because I've got to have for 24, 25, and then 26. So I could make long range plans as well as short range ones. And want to know a somewhat secret? So finally, fingers crossed, it looks like Mike will finally be the lead scoutmaster at our troop. He tried to get it when he was 21. They said, no, you're too young. He tried to get it again when he was 24 or 25. And they're like, oh, but you're in college. He was online college where he had one class at a time. He had all the free time in the world. So now there's not enough of us ASMs. And the ones we have that are most active have only been with us about a year. And they don't want to touch it. They haven't been with us long enough to learn the culture of the troop or anything. So Mike finally went in and said, look, you need me. You might as well let me. And so fingers crossed, it all has to be ratified. They have to have nominations open to the end of the month, and then it'll be ratified by the board. But every one of us went at the Scoutmaster meeting going, we don't want it. So we know anybody nominates any of us, we're all going to go, nope. And he knows that. So it shouldn't be a problem, but I think it's great because this means there'll be another Kraus that's a Scoutmaster, like the lead Scoutmaster, or what they call unit leader. So hopefully, I don't see any reason it shouldn't go through this time, especially when the rest of us are all sitting here going, we don't want this. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I think it'll be so cool. Oh. I hope that's not an omen. That better not be an omen. What's the matter, Dad? You didn't want any of your grandsons to become Scoutmasters? Come on, Pin. Get back in there. Okay. There we go. Hope that's not an omen. Yeah, because I have to put this little, it's a wig pin. It's a kind of sharp pin with it that's a T shape that usually goes and keeps a wig on one of the styrofoam heads, but it helps hold the phone in place so that we can film and have our lives. Oh, Linda, did you hit your head? Oh, do you need some ice to make it feel better? Oh my goodness. I was going to make new number cards, and I have the cards. I have like little blank cards, but then I went and I pulled out my calligraphy. I had markers that were, had the felt tips that for calligraphy, and they were all dried out. I hadn't used them in so long. So at least I cleaned out a desk drawer. I went through every bit of magnets, of markers that was in the drawer and found about 18 that write, but they're not the kind I need. And and threw about 40 of them away. So that's more stuff out of the house. It's more stuff out. It's just, unfortunately, all of the ones that were left were the kind that have the brush tip to make it look like watercolor. Those were left. I'm not that good an artist to try to be making fancy number cards, making them look like watercolor. I tried adding water, Lou, and it didn't work. I even tried, and then when that didn't work, I even tried hot water, and still didn't work. Yeah, Mike's going out shopping tomorrow. I have a check from a job that I was able to pick up, a temporary one, typing up some stuff for one of the scout parents. That check has to clear before I can go shopping, so I'm not going shopping before Tuesday. But hey, anything that works. So I have an odd mix. You saw the thumbnail, had some cute little things. I've not been able to ID that white hobnail piece, though. I just haven't. This is just so weird having like my head and nothing. Nope, my hand's not showing. I haven't really been able to ID that sucker. So we're going to do everything tonight as an offer up, starting at $3, no matter what it is. So that's how it's going to be. Oh, I never thought of that. Add food coloring. Yeah, I couldn't get the base to budge because I thought maybe because some markers have, the end has a little cap, but these ones were strange. They didn't really have that. They were also really, really, I mean, I had these in college. I am ever so much far away. I mean, Mike's 29 now, and I gave up college to raise him. So yeah, I kind of think I kind of think they finally were just too far gone. So I have, like I said, as usual with me, it is an odd lot. We had more rain yesterday. We didn't. Now, around us, that wind was a big problem. The rain caused a lot of water. But the setup we have upstairs caught most of the water, and that was fine until these idiots knocked over one of the buckets that was half full of water and put it all over my wood floor. I don't know why they will ignore those buckets if they are empty, but the minute there's water in them, they want to play with them. I don't know why. They're idiots. Yet, God forbid you put them near a sink or a tub that's got water in it. So we mostly had heavy rain, but once that wind kicked up, we had 6 cats in Mike's room because even the doctor went, "Nah, I'm not going outside in this." And she was upstairs hiding under Michael's bed, and the rest of them were on the bed with Michael. At one point, I had Elron with me, and I had to put my jacket on, and he was zipped up in the jacket, and his head was just sticking out. And he'll go to sleep like that, which is good because then I can keep working. Or if I have that purple hoodie on that has the pocket, he slides right into the pocket, goes to sleep. It's great. But there was a piece of something because there's a pin oak. The pin oak, if you ever saw the video that says it broke my house, that's from the pin oak that's next door. This thing is so tall, it could be a ship's mast. It is massive. And just, it's way, way taller. It's a whole other story and a half, if not 2 stories taller than my 3-story house. It's a big sucker. And there is, after the limb came down and broke the kitchen porch, which he didn't make good on and fix. There is a big limb that goes literally all the way across to this side of the house. And I mean, literally right about like 5 feet forward from me, goes and is right across that line of the house. When you're on this side of the house in the side yard, you can actually see about 3-4 feet of the end of that branch. It completely goes across the house. And so like the part that's closest to the tree is this big massive thing. And I'm thinking, if that thing comes down, that's going to do even more damage than the smaller branch did. And I said, please take that one off before it causes a problem on my house. And he said, yeah, I'll take that down too. Well, they didn't. And right above, all the end parts of that are right above Mike's room. And there were a couple of dead pieces to that. Well, I think those dead pieces landed on the roof because we heard a heck of a bang up there. And all the cats just, nope. Suddenly, the ones that weren't in bed with Mike were in bed with Mike. Even Elrond, who like looked at me, looked at the ceiling, crawled out. He and Aragorn went under the covers with Mike. Arwen even went over and laid on the pillow next to Mike. Gimli was already next to Mike. Frodo came up and laid next to Mike. And the doctor appeared, and she had been, I could see where she was. She had been in the doorway to the room when all the rain was going on. And as soon as that hit, she went under the bed. But the wind is what hit us so badly here. There were a lot of areas around us that lost power, some for 3 or 4 hours, some for about 15-20 minutes. It just depended on what trees knocked down. I couldn't get to Scouts on Wednesday night because the main road there was blocked. And it was blocked the next day still because they had to run new power lines. Yeah, that it's right on the property line, literally about 3 roots of it. Like 3 inches of the base of that trunk are like on the line. The rest of it's all on his side. So yeah, it does suck that they didn't take care of it. Yeah, that's bad when it takes over, when the wind can knock over your shed. That is bad. I thought we'd have trouble going down Rose Valley Road to get to Scouts because that's notorious for having trees come down or limbs come down and lean on, hit the wires, and they will then close the road till. But that was fine. I think because of the fact that it is a pretty deep valley right there. A lot of the winds, somebody who lives just still within the valley part and not that far from the old mill, they said that there was hardly any wind where they were. So most of the wind was surface level and didn't really make it like down into that big dip. Because there, I mean, it is a pretty steep road this way and then back up the other way to get out of there. And they said they didn't hear hardly any wind, but everybody around them was telling them how bad the wind was. So, so I guess it all just did almost like a, what do they call it? A derecho, where it's straight line winds, because it was pretty bad. And we could see the next day, there's a lot of little limbs from all the trees that are on this side, just little bits of stuff, and they're all like caught against the fence over there and against the azalea that's over there. So they all kind of blew this way. So, oh, wow. You're up by Lake Erie? Yeah, Lake Erie had some really strong winds coming. And if you're by Lake Erie, don't you get that lake effect snow as well? Mike saw a thing on Save Old Houses or Cheap Old Houses, one of the Facebook pages, and there was a gorgeous house, and it was up on Lisa. It was up on Lake Cayuga in the middle of the Finger Lakes, and I had to laugh going, hey, we can move up there. That's a cool looking house. The only thing that was seriously in need was it had no current heating. It had an old coal burning furnace. Well, that's what they took out of here when I was in my early teens. They had to cut it up with a blowtorch and take it out in chunks. So it needed that, but it had a new roof. It had had all the wiring redone. About half the plumbing was done, and then it just seems like whoever was rehabbing it ran out of money. But they did the main thing. They put a new roof on, made it watertight. They put new windows in on some of it. The part facing the road, they did like I did. They left it the original wavy glass windows because it's a house from 1900. And and I just laughed because he's like, Lake Cayuga. He says, that'd be great. You're on the same lake that Camp Barton was on, and it's awesome up there because you're right outside of Ithaca, New York, and Cornell is up there. And I went, yeah, but in the winter, there's going to be a lot of snow too, and he doesn't want any parts of that. Lisa girl, I've missed you. I have not been on my YouTube channel doing much or seeing anybody else because when I have a bad habit of when the going gets tough and even sitting up at a chair was, for a while there, was making my foot swell. So I would have to sit up in bed with my foot up. And that way, then I'm not anywhere near the computers. So, because Mike's is not a laptop, and this laptop is like permanently stuck here. And it has to be plugged in all the time because the battery's no good. So I haven't been able to keep up with anybody. That's no fun. So I'm glad everybody made it through. And I love Lisa's little thing has popped up and said member for 3 months, Night Owl. That's so nice. She is one of our Night Owl members, which is one of the basic membership for the channel. And there's her and Nora and Marilyn, I believe, is the other one. And look, I can't even remember my own things. There's Night Owl, which is the basic, and you see a few videos right now ahead of time. You usually see the drop sales 24 hours ahead of time. The next level up, which is Nora, there's videos that only that level sees. You see all the drop sales ahead of time, which is supposed to be just that channel, but with only 3 members, I don't like to leave the other 2 out. And then there's a higher one, which I don't have anybody on. So I really hope this weather YouTuber doesn't get stuck out there in Western New York. Well, let's see. It's not going to be Ryan Hall because he's down south. But he's got buddies all over the place. So I don't know. Some areas are still, they're talking about us getting snow here on Tuesday because the temperature will drop then enough to be at least a dusting. You have 3 2-years for your membership too? Yeah. I want to get to the point where I can do a membership for you. I have a couple of old debts I need to pay off first. So close. So close. I have 2 of them that are below $500 now. Yay! Yes! So that's a good thing. I have others that are way more than that still, but I have 2 that I have been chunking away at. One of them because it was the one with the highest interest rate, so I went after that one with a vengeance. And they all stem from when I first hurt my spine, a lot of it, because that's when I lost the job. So sure, Nora, you could say who it is. I don't mind. So let's see what we've got tonight. I just put the wrong thing up. And I hadn't even had any of that whiskey, that scotch, until I got to you guys. I waited till we could toast 2024. Honestly, though, a little worried about 2024. What kind of year starts with such a bang that they got to give Japan an earthquake on the first day? That's not nice. That's a no. But I want to thank you also over the holidays. Some of you sent the kiddies presents. Some of you sent me a buy me a cup of tea. I thank you all for that. That was very kind of you. And apparently people are watching the videos and watching the commercials because I got an actual payout from YouTube. I didn't expect to get a second payout this year, especially when I had, hadn't been able to be active since, October. And I was so stunned that the middle of December, I got another $100 payout from YouTube. That's 2 this year. I was really, really surprised. So thank you all very much for watching the videos, because it really does matter. That's how they factor in how they pay us. You're never going to get rich off that, but it was such a surprise, and I wouldn't get that if you guys were not watching at least some of the videos. I do also try to make sure my videos are always about 20 minutes apart, at the very least. So, Nora's working on a box for the kitties. Oh, wow. Well, see, and a lot of people do use ad blockers. Um, I don't pay for, you could pay YouTube a fee so you don't see ads. I forget what they call it. And I don't pay for that for this overstuffed house. So when I go watch another seller and I'll see their ads on their videos, and I let them run, but I have that subscription for my personal YouTube thing, because I have videos of old movies that I found that are on YouTube. I found audiobooks on YouTube. Plus, there's a lot of TED Talks. Oxford and Cambridge have talks and debates. And these things may be 2 and 3 hours long. And the last thing I want to be is listening to a 2-hour interview with Stephen Fry and have ads pop up. So I listen to a lot of long stuff. And so I finally splurged and did that for myself. And I don't regret it one bit, considering what it is that I'm listening to on my personal YouTube channel. That and like episodes of QI, because I love that show. You learn so much. But I found out that if they have that, the difference in the amount of revenue a YouTube channel makes from somebody who has the subscription versus somebody who doesn't is significant. I saw from April, when the last payout was, to December, I saw all of 63 cents, not dollars, cents, from YouTube premium subscriptions. Now, and I don't mean from the memberships. I mean from people who have the ad blocker, because you get like I swear you must get only like 1/10 of a penny. But then, for the ones that aren't watching with that, who watch the ads and let the ads run, I mean, that's the bulk of that $100 that came in. So it's from the people who don't. So, and another bag of pins. I wish I could send you something, but I don't know anything your kitties need. And I'm not in a position to do that yet. We'll get there. We'll get there. Especially now I'm a little more mobile and have physical therapy and have a actual plan out. Mike actually got in there into the Black Hole Challenge room and measured the room. So I actually have a floor plan measured, so I know. And he measured the 2 china closets, and he measured the bookcase that's on the porch out there, and he measured the bookcase that's in the basement, the metal one that I'm going to swipe and put in that office. So we actually have measurements to actually created a real floor plan. The only thing that we don't know is what's the size of the desk, the antique desk that's at my sister's basement. I don't know what size that is. Susan, hello. Thank God it was our home and oh yeah. Hi Val. Oh honey, don't worry about it. Everybody falls asleep now and then. So that's the one blessing here, is that I got the house the old-fashioned way. I inherited it. So the mortgage was paid off when I was 16. So it will never have a mortgage, ever. Yeah, it needs repairs here and there, some of them major, but I'll never get a mortgage now because I can't get this. I have got turned down for disability for my spine. And I'm finally up to about 15 pounds on a good day that I can lift. I can't do it that much. The biggest problem is how I bend. I don't mind doing dishes. I like doing dishes. But when you keep bending forward to like turn the hot water on or something, or use the sprayer, that tilt forward. It's the same thing as chopping. I found out very quickly, chopping up vegetables for dinner. You're tilting forward, and that little tilt does a lot to aggravate the small of my back. So that's kind of a problem. This is a Wawa. This is a Wawa hoodie. This is one of my Wawa things. Mike no longer works for Wawa. I no longer work for Wawa. So I've got a bunch of Wawa stuff I need to get up onto my very small at the moment eBay store. So, and I had 3 things sell in the last 3 days. So I need to pack stuff tomorrow for that. And I have a package for Kathy that never got out. She's paid for it. Bless her heart. She's been so patient with me because I had packed it and invoiced her, and then was working that weekend because it was the last push to finish the house. And that's when I screwed up my foot and ended up upstairs for 2.5 months. So, you know, that grouse whiskey, it don't have much of a taste, but it's smooth as can be. It's almost like drinking water. Now, I did have 2 ice cubes in there because I do like my whiskey cold. And I know there's some people say that that's sacrilege, but I like my Scotch whiskey cold. You know what else is really good? If you get the really, really, really good vodka. Oh. I believe I have a box now for the Viking ship. But the Viking ship is safely on the dining room table, and it actually has an even bigger box over top of it, upside down over top of it. That and a few other things that are more fragile are also in there with it to keep the cats away from it. But then with the house clean out, it got to the point where anytime she just said, "Do you want this?" I would just say yes, just to get it out of her house. So the way into the dining room got completely blocked. So I haven't been in there to get to the stuff. I actually have 2 cat items, Lisa, and we'll start with those. Now, this one is so cute, and I'm betting. Now, unfortunately, I only ever found the one. Isn't she cute? She reminds me of the kitten from Aristocats, Marie, the little white one. But if you look at the tail, there's this little piece here that feels like a piece of leather. So I think this was one of the ones, but sometimes they would glue little bits of white rabbit fur or feathers to things, marabou feathers. And I think that may have once had that. Now it is a salt and pepper shaker. It's got little holes in its head. I did not try to get that out because that's that vulcanized rubber and it's gotten hard. So the minute you try to pull that out, it's gonna crack. But it's a cute little thing. It's an offer up starting at $3. So I have to put a start in, don't I? That would be the smart way to do it. There we go. Start at $3. We'll do her. We'll do the other little kitty. The other little kitties. She's the smallest thing I have tonight, I think. But she is so cute. I thought about using her as an assemblage, but then I was like, I don't know what I could do with her for that. Now, her bow is kind of in her way of her face. But look, she's got the cutest little mouth hiding under there. Now, I don't know if the bow seems like they glued it on the front, but it is like a little silk bow. She's such a cute little thing, though, but there's no maker's mark that I could see. And the only flaw to her is not having whatever was stuck on that little piece, which she's just so adorable. Absolutely adorable. She is, I don't know what happened to my ruler, but she is all of, let's see, where's the top of that ear? She is 2 3/4 inches tall. Isn't she the prettiest little thing? She's just so cute. So I see Lisa in for $3 for the white kitten. So I don't see anybody else coming in for that. Try to get this. I've tried for 2 years now to get Michael to like be awake for my lives and, you know, be the one to put in the going once, going twice. He won't touch this with a 10-foot pole. Okay, can't type if I can't see the keyboard. Okay, going once. So we're at $3 for that little one. And going twice. And why did going, oh, duh. Apparently I didn't hit the enter button. There we go. And last chance. Has it come up yet? Sold. Sold to Lisa at Flippin' Crazy. Okay, such a cutie. I'm so glad that found a home because I rescued her from the basement of the house clean out. She was in a box of stuff where it was one of those things where she said, just take it to the trash. And I looked and I went, oh, no, she's too cute. This little darling was in the same box. This little gray, look at I think that's a Persian. Oh, look at that fur. I think this little baby is a Persian, this little gray kitty. Now, this is not a salt and pepper shaker. It is just a simple little statuette. She's not very heavy, but she is really nicely done. Now, there's one tiny little, I got to find it. Where is it? Because I found it when I was washing her off. That's not it. Is that it? I think that's it. That's it. I really had to hunt for it. So, like this part, you can see like the glazing didn't cut, but that's a manufacturer's thing. The glazing didn't cover right there. But right here, and I honestly don't even know it. There. Can you just see how that shadows right there? There's the tiniest little bit of a chip right there. But honestly, you can't even really see it because it's mostly underneath underneath of her paw. But this little beauty, she is 3 inches tall. This darling little Persian. Look at those eyes. Those dots, okay, I'm not going to lie. The dots are creeping me out. Don't know why, but she's so adorable. But the dots just kind of remind me of that movie Village of the Damned with all the freaky little children. I don't know why, because otherwise she's adorable. And you just don't see long-haired cats as figurines very often. You know, I've seen plenty that are short-haired, that are tabbies or gingers or Siamese, or sometimes you can tell the breed, but you just don't see ones where they make an effort to make it look like it's got long hair. Because even the back, look at all these lines. Look at all that. That's a cat that's a long-haired cat. So whether it's definitely not a Turkish van, it's not the right color, so it's probably a Persian, but absolutely adorable. And I see Lisa is in for 3. Anybody else? I mean, look, it's even got a little rose on it, a little pink bow. All ready for Valentine's Day there with that little pink bit going on there. Or if you also find the eyes creepy, it could be a Halloween kitty, because you can have a whole Village of the Damned thing and just start collecting little figurines with creepy eyes. So it's up to you. So does she really? I don't think I've seen your Cloudy. I do not think I've ever seen Cloudy on camera on the times I've been at your channel. So, but Lisa is in for 3 for this lovely little girl. Bow like that, it's probably a girl. So I will, the elusive Cloudy, like a cloud, you know, drifts here, drifts there. I haven't seen the twins' father in a very long time, but I also know he seems to be he was an older cat, but I haven't seen Shadow in a year. And he's definitely Aragorn and Arwen's dad, because they have the same incredibly silky soft fur that he did, and they're the same shade of gray. Oh, speaking of cats, I saw Jack 3 days ago. Wait, today's Saturday. I saw Jack on Monday, so it's more than 3 days. I opened up the window upstairs bathroom, hollered to him, saw Jack, come here, I'll feed you, come here. And that quick, he made a beeline from the corner of the property right to the kitchen door. He was waiting for me, so I fed him. He looks a little thin, but otherwise healthy, in spite of the missing eye. So he's still around and alive, thank goodness. So, let's go back to little Miss Kitty here. So we're gonna do our going once for the little pretty kitty. It's in at 3 to Lisa. And going twice. And then I won't watch. And where did I stick the other one? I stuck the other one back in the box. We'll stick that one back in the box. Just keep it safe from my little idiots. And there's the sold. Lisa's cleaning up on the kitties. Is that the only? That's the only kitty thing I have tonight, is those 2. Just those 2. Now, I've got... Yes, thank you, Lisa. Congratulations. Thank you very much. And once I figure out how to do a setup so that my phone can look straight down, then you and I will do that jewelry sale. Now that I can do stairs somewhat, I want to get to the basement and build a little stand that I can just sit the phone on and have it go look straight down, because well, first off, my ring lights are both into the dining room where I can't get to them. But they don't bend enough. The holder doesn't bend enough to look straight down. So we will have that jewelry sale together. I will be there. Well, you have to. I want to make sure I get it set up right because I love your setup for jewelry sales. Having it where it films straight down so they can see the details. Absolutely love how you do those. So I have a DVD set. It's still sealed. I've never opened it. It is season 4 of Criminal Minds. So if you like that show, that has 26 episodes, because back when they used to do a lot of episodes for TV seasons. What year is this from? I should have looked. 2008 and 2009. Because I think Criminal Minds, is this one of the ones still going on? External USB channel camera. I don't even know what that is, but now that I know, I'll look it up. Because I'm technology challenged. We all know that. So this is a great box set. If you like crime mysteries that are more like, modern police drama crimes, it is a cool series. With winter coming, it would definitely be something to keep you busy in case you're stuck at home because of snow, or at this rate, more rain and wind. So starting offer is $3. And it is, like I said, it is still sealed. You get it all in there. There's a 7-disc set. So there's 7 discs hiding in there. And the first 3 have 2. And then this last one has 1 disc, has disc 7 in it. I think disc 7 is the one with all the special features, the gag reel, the deleted scenes, a look behind the scenes, and profiles of the cast. So if no one's interested in that, we can pass. Now, I have a lovely cover Louisa May Alcott book, Rose in Bloom. This is a Whitman. You can see the nice little Whitman mark there, which tells you right off the bat, when they started doing in the 60s, these 50s and 60s, these wonderful covers. This one, that high gloss coating that they put on it is intact. It's not peeling off. The corners are still nice and sharp. Look, you see how nice and crisp these corners are. So if you wanted to have it faced out this way, this is the back. This would be such a cool thing to have. I mean, really. Look, you could have other stuff in front of it and have that be the backdrop if you wanted that to be that. Or you have the front. But one thing with Whitman, now this does have an inscription in the front. It's not signed by the author by any means. Is that, gonna sneeze. Hang on. Allergy meds are wearing off. When Whitman made a lot of these, they made them out of the cheapest paper they could get, which is rag paper. Now, this says it's illustrated by Catherine Barnes, and it says Modern Abridged Edition. Thank you, guys. This is from 1955 is when this edition is from. But their pages often start to turn a little tan because they used what they called rag paper. And it was a lower quality paper, so you have to watch. It can often get brittle. It does have some nice line illustrations. But, I mean, it really is. For $3, it really is something that's pretty cool to have, as a backdrop or something. Hello, Vintage and Vino. How are you guys doing? So starting offer is $3 for the Rose and Bloom book from 1955. It's in great shape. And like I said, you can have it that way. You could even just lay it this way and have that part showing flat up, or stand it up and have that be a nice backdrop to something for spring. But it is Louisa May Alcott's Rose in Bloom. $3 is the starting offer, and it's in wonderful shape. I've read Rose in Bloom. I have an older copy that's from, I think my copy is from the 30s, my copy from Rose and Bloom. And so I don't see anyone coming in for this one. So we'll tuck that one into the box. That one may be going into the eBay store. We'll see. Now, for those of you who like, Pity Warren's not here. I think he would like this book. I have an old book, Living in Country and City, by W.R. McConnell, professor of geography in Miami University, Oxford, Ohio. It is from, this is the edition of 1948. Now, I think this was probably used as a textbook, but look at the artwork of that cover. Isn't that great? No, I forgot my blood pressure medication. My blood pressure's actually been pretty good too lately, which is good. But that's upstairs. So I will make sure I get that. Because I forgot. With it being an hour earlier, I completely forgot to get it. Now, I did find all the pictures are black and white. Now, in this one, this is why this is just $3, is I did find that there's 2 pages where somebody took something out. Pictures or words, I'm not sure. Probably pictures. But there's only 2. Or, whoops, I take that back. There's 3 because half the lambs are missing. But they were all right there. I didn't find anywhere, I didn't find any anywhere else. But they're great black and white pictures if you wanted to use this for a big junk journaling book, because you've got this great cover. And there's a lot of text pages, but there's also a lot of cool pages. Like, I love the cars. I really love the old cars on that. But, there's full text pages that you could put glue your own artwork over. But then there are some really cool black and white images. I like the sailboat myself. That you could, leave in there. And the binding is good and tight. The outside has a little wear top and bottom. You see that? To the spine ends. But overall, it's really good and clean on the outside. And not a lot of wear to the corners. The corners are still pretty good. And that's fabulous cover. That's so cool looking. So it would be $3 start, $3 offer for Living in Country and City. Just $3, and you could turn it into a nice big junk journal. You got plenty of pages. But I saw that cover and I was like, that's just such cool graphics. I just didn't want to see that disappear. It's just so cool. And I have to admit, I was kind of disappointed when I found that one little spot where there was somebody took something out of those pictures. This was the other spot where somebody had you could see the rust marks from a paper clip. So I see Val in for $3. Does anybody else want to come in for higher? We have Val at $3 for Living in Country and City. Being that it's this size, you might be able to stick calendar pages in amongst some of it and turn it into an interesting planner. It could be quite interesting with something this big for junk journaling. You'd have plenty of room to make stuff, but that is such a cool picture. So I only see Val. So I got to sit that down so I can type. Don't knock over the shoe. So we'll put in our going once. And going twice. It's your last chance to put in Val. Right now it's Val at 3. If anybody else is interested, they need 4 or higher. And sold. All right. Val, that's all yours. Now, I don't know what to do about these little cuties because I didn't realize I had 2 of them. But they're identical. I don't know that mark, but at least on this one you can see made in Japan. But it's a little green shoe. And they're pretty. They're cute. There's no chips. There's no cracks. But there's a second one. And they look identical. Because it's, you know, going to be the same mold. Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. And I don't know if I should put them up as a pair. I mean, I thought I just had one, and then I was going through the box and I found the other one. Now I was going to do them just, you know, $3 each, but I think we're going to cheat. We're going to start this at 5, and you can have the pair. I think it's kind of cool to have a pair because then you can have them like out at Halloween and say they're witches' shoes. You know, because you've got the left and the right. Well, actually, there is no left and right to these, but they are really cute. Now you can tell that the flowers in the center and the side, these lavender ones, you can tell that they're hand applied because they are just slightly different in how they're shaped. And the ones, the leaves, they're part of the mold, but these little guys, these have to be some kind of press mold because they are too much alike. They're too perfect. I'm not holding them the right way. They are too perfect in size and shape. They have to be some kind of little press mold. Same thing here. They're too identical. So I think those are applied, but they are done in such a way that they are also already pre-molded. But it's just these 2, this one and this one, that look like they're hand done, hand shaped, and then applied on. But you're right. They would be good for St. Patrick's Day, just even for spring. It's a nice spring color, you know, and St. Patrick's Day is so hard to find stuff for. So since there's 2 of them, I mean, technically I should start it at 6, I suppose, but you guys are my night owls. So we're going to start it at 5 for the pair of the green floral shoes. As I said, I did not get a chance to look up that symbol. They are now this one says made in Japan. This one has such a dark mark there, and the made in Japan is so faint you can't hardly see it. But yeah, wouldn't they be cute little fairy shoes? Absolutely so cute. So hello, Gal Friday. So these are $5 start, and you get the pair. You have them for spring, St. Patrick's Day, if you like collecting little fairy shoes. I really kind of like the leaves. I really like how they have the leaves. The leaves are my favorite. Oh, darn it. Ugh. I usually take the 24-hour allergy medicine at 10 o'clock, and I forgot it, and I can tell it's wearing off. My biggest allergy is leaf mold, and with the rain we've just had, and my backyard is still completely full of leaves, every time I step outside that door, my sinuses all just go to hell in a handbasket. So, all right, so $5 start for the pair. Do we have any takers? If not, I can hang on to these and then have them save them for St. Patrick's Day sale. Because I do actually have a few other St. Patrick's Day things that as I find really nice stuff, I've been tucking away. Not enough to do a whole sale, but probably half a sale. So thank you for the bless yous. And so we'll just pass on the shoes then. That's okay. I don't mind. Now, I have 4 things left. Somehow that's more than 10. Now this one, this is a nice piece of pottery. I really like the shape of this. It's well glazed inside, but I could not figure out that signature. That's definitely a K. I have no idea what else it is. But being that this is such, it's got a good weight. It is, what do we got? It is just a hair over 4 inches tall. The lip is 4.5, so it's 4.5 wide and just a hair over 4 inches tall. And this is a really nice weight. This would be really good for, you know, maybe you could stand paintbrushes in, or pens, or, you know, wooden spoons in it for in the kitchen. It's a beautiful glaze. I really like the glaze. I like the brown with the blue. I think that's really pretty cool. It's just that I can't keep everything. And this is one that could use a new home. Now, if you wanted to put a plant in there, you probably could. But it's going to got to be something that likes being a little pot bound and doesn't need a lot of root space. But it is just, I love that side. That's just so perfect glaze right there for a drip glaze. It is really, really nice. And you can tell that whoever did it, when you see the bottom, you can see the swirl marks. They did it on a wheel. But I could not ID who made it. There's no date. And I think that's just a KS. I'm not sure. So it is signed, but I just cannot figure out that signature. Could not figure it out. Now, around me, there are a couple of places that do pottery studios and pottery classes. Not only is there the Delaware Art Museum just over the line in Delaware, there is a community center in Swarthmore that specifically does it. It could either be a K. I thought it might be a K at first, but there's a tiny little dot. Not just that one over the whatever that is, but in the center, you see how it goes up a tiny bit? When you see it up close, there's a tiny little dot above this part. So I think that might be an I. I just couldn't figure it out. I really couldn't. So, so it is a nice piece of pottery, though. And it really is just such a nice little decorative look. Well, see, I don't know if it's Kim because of the way they decided to go down like that. I did try to Google Lens it, and I didn't find anything that matched that. Now, if I could find one that said Mitch Lyons, wow, yeah. I knew Mitch. Mitch has exhibited at the Delaware Art Museum, at galleries in Philadelphia. If I could find one of his, that'd be awesome. But that's definitely not Mitch. So it is $3 start. $3 start for this wonderful pottery piece. Well worth it. I mean, it is really, and you know, when you look at it, you can see that it's really well balanced. You know, when you throw stuff on a pot, it's not easy to make everything nice and even, but this really is. And the top of it, even the top part going across, is really nice and not 100% even, but it's so close. Like this piece right here is just like a hair up slightly to this side. Yes, that's the correct spelling for Mitch Lyons. Mitch was quite creative and had a very distinctive style. I particularly he liked to play around. He had one that he was selling in the gift shop with us at when I worked at the Delaware Art Museum. And I looked at it, and he did this section of it that had all these little round circles kind of indented. And I went, it looks like the mat from on my car floor. And he goes, don't tell anybody, but that's exactly what it is. He wanted the pattern. So what he did is he would roll the pattern out on a different piece of clay, and he actually would carve out that shape out of one of his pots, and then he would fit that piece into that. So it would be almost like, what is it when they do, parquet is not the right word. When they do it with wood and the inlay, and they would inlay different colored woods to make a pattern, he would do that with some of his clay pieces. So they get really, really cool looking. So yeah, there is a flaw right there where it looks like the glaze didn't cover up and over, but that really is the only thing that I've seen as a flaw. So I see Val in for 3. Beautiful piece. Beautiful piece. I honestly decided I was going to share. So we have Val in for 3. Does anybody else want to come in for higher? We have 3. We're looking for 4. It's a beautiful piece. And like I said, I've no idea what state it came from. Because where I picked this up from was the estate sale of another friend that lived in Delaware, and they traveled all over the US. So I was there on the final day, and surprisingly nobody had picked up. They found some stuff in the attic, and they found some pottery, and they didn't even realize it was there because it was mixed in. So they started unpacking some of the stuff, and it's great. Oh yeah, sometimes you can get great. I've seen some beautiful redware, and I can't think of the name of the company, but is it Smoky Mountain something? And I was so annoyed because I found 4 pieces of it. I didn't get there fast enough, and the only piece is a person left behind when I saw what left behind because the leg was broken on part of it. So we have Val for 3. You'll sit that in there. So it's your last chance to go after it. So we are going once. We're looking for 4 or higher. If anybody wants to challenge it, go for it. So, going twice. I can't wait till I have the black hole challenge room emptied out because I have a few bits of pot. I have one lone rookwood. I have a piece of rookwood pottery, just one. I love it. But it's been packed away since Michael was 2 because, you know, you get a 2-year-old, you walk around, you put things on higher shelves, and then you find out he knows how to push the furniture around and get the higher shelves, so you pack it away. So it's been packed away for, he's 29 now. It's been packed away for 27 years. So I can finally unpack it, and I want to put it in one of those china closets that's in the, what'll be my office in the black hole challenge room. So okay, so we're going to have the sold go in right now. There it is. Okay. So the pottery piece goes to Val for $3. Girl, you got it for a song. Congratulations. It is a lovely piece. Now, I've got... Oh, you're in there. You're a teeny tiny. You're a really teeny tiny. I didn't know you were in the box. I found this and cleaned it up. It is the tiniest little coin purse I have ever seen. It doesn't have a label inside, but it's pink leather and it's got hand-done little beads. Now, when I was a kid in the 70s at some of the tourist spots, they used to have stuff like these. They had little coin purses, but I've never seen one this small that you could pick up and, or little beaded necklaces that you could just pick up cheaply for the kids. Isn't that so cute? Absolutely adorable. So we can do that one. And it's in, I mean, the outside is in really good shape. It was a little dusty. The inside, you could tell at one point, because there's a little scuff mark right there, that it did have change in it. And it had change. It's old enough that it had change in it that was actually silver. Because you could, if you've ever seen what silver coins do, they leave tarnish behind inside of things. So we can do the little coin purse. I'm guessing this is probably from the 50s. But I'm going to start this. It's so tiny. I'm going to start it at 2 if anyone is interested in the tiny little coin purse. And honestly, it's a good tight snap. It closes. Hear that? It's a good tight snap. So even if you wanted to use it as your little pill pouch for your medications for the day to take with you, this is a lot more fun than one of those giant things that has the whole week. There's Marilyn. Hello, darling. So, you know, this would be, you could use it for that too. And like I said, there's no wear on the outside. I think this needs a little polishing up, the brass, but it's a good tight closure. It's such a cute little thing. I don't carry a purse, so it wouldn't work for me because I just carry a wallet. I have a wallet. Oh, it's upstairs. That I bought off of Temu because I haven't been able to get a new taxi wallet because I haven't seen one I liked. I was so bummed when I lost the one with the cat on it. So we have Marilyn in for 2. And I'm going to start to call it if no one else. It does have a little piece right there that, yes, you probably could add something to it. If you used a key ring, you'd have to find one of those circular rings that's pretty thin because that's not a very big space. There we go. There we go. That's not a very big space to get something through. So Marilyn is in for 2. And if no one else is in, I know when I was a kid, I had necklaces that were all beaded from different. I had a neat little purse that was shaped like a moccasin and it had a zipper on it and all this little beadwork. And some idiot kid, I had walked down the hill to used to be an Acme down there, and I'd walk down the hill to go get something, and some little punk kid mugged me for it. And I was just so upset because I was 10 because Poppy had just died, and that had been a gift to me from my grandfather from one of the vacations they had taken. And I was so bummed to lose that thing. And I'd never seen, when we would go on vacation, I'd look for one like it, and I never saw another one like it. Oh, yeah, you could put a string. You could take a nice little satin ribbon, one of the thin ones, and tie it around your wrist. That would be cool. So we're going to start calling it. And so it's with Marilyn for 2. And we have going twice. So we're going to put that sold in. Let's see how far. There we go. Yep, there we go. Marilyn, thank you very much. That little thing is yours. So now we got 2 things left. Just 2. So yeah, I wondered about that. I kind of thought you had a new address because I sent you a Christmas card since you're one of my paying memberships, and it came back to me. And I went, uh-oh. So I kept forgetting to email you about that. But yeah, send me the new email. You know mine. Mine is right there, and the new address. And we'll get you all hooked up. Now, this lovely little piece, which this white stuff is good for any holiday, really. This is 5 3/4 inches tall. It is 4 1/4 inches wide because of all the little fluting. It has all this hobnail on it. Now you could see a mold line here. Well, actually, I don't think you guys can see it. And there's one here. There's not 4. Is there 4 of them? Yeah. Oh, yeah, there is 4. I can feel 2 others. I can't see them. But it's all hobnail. It's really nice piece. And you can, it's not, what's the right term? It's not opalescent. It's not that. But it's also not, it's more like it is a real white glass because you don't see a lot of light through it. So the glass is definitely colored with something. But there's no chips, no cracks. You could put a little floral arrangement in here. At Christmas time, you could put some, pine or holly and some little balls. You could put a bow. You could put a ribbon around this part or even around up here and fill it with Hershey's Kisses. And then for St. Patrick's Day, you can, change the bow to green and fill it with green M&Ms. Because, if you go to the M&M website, you can buy bags of M&Ms by the color. So, so you could do a lot with this. The white stuff is great for any holiday. I prefer to use clear stuff just because I like the sparkly look. And I'm not a fan of hobnail. I'm not a fan of like the texture to it. So I thought, well, a lot of people are fans of it. And I thought this was a really nice piece. So I'm offering it up. Yeah, that'd make an interesting drinking goblet, wouldn't it? It's the right size. You could hold it. So for the hobnail piece, we're going to start it at 3, because tonight everything starts at 3. Well, except for that tiny little purse, because I didn't know that was in the box. So we're started at 3, and it is a great piece. There's so many holidays. I mean, this fits for everything. You know, you've got your white goes with every holiday. So you've got it for Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, 4th of July is coming right after that. So you've got all the one thing that can be purposed for 3 different holidays right from the start. Even Halloween, you can have black and orange ribbons around the bottom. For the fall, you could get little mini pumpkins and fill it with them. You could do a heck of a lot. And it would be just such a cool piece. You can do whatever you like with it. And if you need something to be a riser for display, turn it this way, and you've got this nice. Now, mind you, you do have the little pontil. You see, it does go down in, but there's no letter there. There's nothing to tell me who the glassmaker was. But this would give you some height, sitting something else on top of it. You see? So it does give you some height for a display, having it upside down. You can use it that way as well. So I mean, that's a great price for such a piece. $3 start. And you know, this is, I looked at it, and at first I thought, you know, it could be cool for some kind of assemblage, but I thought it'd be better to have it where you just decide yourself, because if I were to make some kind of assemblage in it, it would all be carefully glued in place. A lot of people that make assemblages use glue gun glue, because you can usually pop that off of glass so that you could take it apart if you wanted to. But this thing has so many more uses if I just sold it as it is. I see Val in for 3. Oh, Lisa, honey, that's the plan. That is the plan. As I get more together, and you would not believe how much stuff I've gotten through because I had to sit upstairs. Sadly, though, none of it was the stuff for here. It was old paperwork, old files, you know, but it wasn't this kind of stuff. But it's more stuff out of my overstuffed house, so I'm happy. I see Val for 3. Val's getting the deals of the night at this rate. Does anyone want to come in for 4? Certainly, even at 4, this is still quite a steal. I just do wish it had a maker's mark, because some of them will have, like Westmoreland will sometimes have a W. Sometimes you'll see a little L for Libby Glass, but this has nothing to ID who made it. And I think just about everybody made some kind of white glass stuff. Either a hobnail or a grapes pattern seem to be the most popular. So it's, but I like this one in that it's not that, some white glass things are almost see-through, which has its own uses, but this is such a nice solid white that I think that works better when you're using it for a decorative that you're going to change up each holiday. It's nice to have that really nice solid white. So I'm going to sit this in the box carefully so I can start typing. And no one's going to come in for 4. This is your last chance, because I'm going to start the going. So there's our going once. And this is your last chance. And we have a 3. Yeah, Westmoreland was the first one I thought of. But Westmoreland usually has a little W or WCO. They had different marks over the years, but it has no mark at all. And I don't know if Westmoreland ever put anything out not marked. So we have going twice. Here's the last chance, guys. The last chance. I'm not going to look. Here's your chance. And if not, There we go. And sold. Val, you are really cleaning up tonight. Getting quite a deal there. Congratulations. So, white hobnail. I forgot to bring my notebook down, so I have this vintage savings bank thing. What did I just drop? Oh, I dropped. What is that? Oh, it's glue stick. But I was like, okay, I just write on this. $3 to Val. And the last thing tonight is, this is cute and all, but it's not my thing. Mind you, I like the cup. I probably would have kept the cup. But someone made this lovely little pin cushion. Now, what I thought was creative is they got a little gold spoon from somewhere, and they actually covered the spoon as well. And the spoon, you know how the strawberry for a pin cushion has the sawdust in it? That's exactly what's in here. You can hear it. It makes the same, and it feels the same as like the strawberry would for a pin cushion. Remember, you get the tomato ones, and it had the little strawberry part on the end, and then the top is all nice and puffy. I mean, it is cute, but first off, what do you think's going to happen with these 5 little gang of fools that I have, and that lovely little swingy stuff? Do you honestly think I could keep this in my house and out where they'd see it and not have that mauled within a week? It's adorable. It is very cute, but there's no possible way I could have this out in my house with the gang of 5. They are only a year and a half old. They still play a lot and rough. So, this is being offered to go to a new home. It's in great shape. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I have never put a single pin in it. This is one of the things I found when I unpacked a box of stuff, and I was like, oh, yeah, I can't actually use that with all that bling and little pretty cute stuff, because these little morons would be going after it. So I thought I'd offer it to you. It starts at $3. It is a great pin cushion, and I absolutely love that somebody went to the trouble to make this just like they do those strawberries, because the strawberries usually have either a little bit of sand or a little bit of sawdust in them, and it's to clean any gunk off the tip of the needle for sewing. That's why those old tomato pin cushions, they're usually stuffed with sawdust too, the really old ones. And they would have that little strawberry piece, and it's to sharpen the point of the needle and clean any gunk off of it, or also help get off any little snaggy bits, so it doesn't snag in your fabric. And so they did that with this, which I thought was wonderful. And it's such a great gift, and it's been in a box forever. And then when I found it, and I went, now I can't use it because these idiots will destroy it. So I'm gonna offer it to you. I love the cup because the cup is so pretty. It's got these little, you see them? These little tiny daisies and little tiny, I'm thinking that's oxalis, the little pink thing. It's such a cute little picture. So let's see. I see Lisa came in for 4. Marilyn came in for 5. And this is well hooked on there, because the spoon is, not only is it glued, but it's reinforced with a bow tied around to make sure it stays secure, and it's glued in on the back here. So it's nice and secure, and when it sits flat, it's perfect, because you see whoever did it really went to a lot of trouble so that the spoon rests even as well with the base, and the base has a piece of white felt over the bottom. So they really did a beautiful job. And I do like it, but at the same time, it's just not usable for me. And so I thought I would send this out with love for you guys, see who likes it. It really is absolutely adorable. And I see Lisa is now out and Marilyn is in at 7. And it is such a cute pincushion cup. And it really is adorable. But I know what these little thieves are like. I have to hide my pens now because they steal the pens right off the desk in front of me. That's become the latest toy. Anything that looks like a stick. Mike and I both now are making sure our pens are in a cup and hiding. Or hiding, I should say. So we're going to go, whoops. Oh, I hit the control button. Don't do anything weird. Okay. Going once. And now the laptop is doing something weird. What are you doing? No, no, no. You have to come back. No, don't do that. Come back to YouTube. There we go. There we go. So going once. Going twice. And I'm not going to watch to see if anybody else comes in, but we are at 7 right now, and I'm going to hit the sold, and it is, there we go, sold. Marilyn, thank you very much. But make sure you send me that new address and email. Thank you so very much, everybody. Oh, and this is perfect. We're going to end at midnight. We got a few minutes to talk. Oh, but I said at the beginning that my brother has been pretty sick, and it's been going off and on for a while. And this past week, he's just been getting paler and paler and weaker, and he wouldn't agree to go to a doctor. Marilyn, bless your heart. Thank you very much. Congratulations. That is such a great piece. Congratulations to all of you who got something tonight. I thank you all very much for it. But my brother, when he gets up in the morning, he's going to decide if he wants me to take him to the ER. So that meant I definitely wasn't going to hang out for an extra hour till 1 and chat, because I know I need to be up early with him. So I wanted to end this at midnight. So we've got about 15 minutes to, chat, say hello, how you doing? Thank you all for coming to the first sale of 2024. I wanted to keep it kind of small and start slow because I can't do stairs up and down too much. That puts the problem with plantar fasciitis. It's like right in the center here where it's got me and where there's a lump. And so when you go up the steps, you're on your toes and it's pulling that up. And right now, that whole ligament is so tight that it's not flexing like it should. So it pulls. And then when it pulls, it causes it to aggravate and more swelling. So I'm just like I was with my spine when I finally got to the point where I could only do stairs once in a day. That's kind of what I got going on right now. So I could do what I can, but I've spent 2.5 months not walking around, so my stamina's shot. Oh, those cats would love more minnows. I wonder if Gimli remembers. I was trying to train them to give me their paw, and then they would get a minnow. The only one that seemed to catch on was Gimli, because he's a smart one. He's also the one like the DoorDash, but he's a smart one. And the others were like not having it. They didn't care. They just wanted the minnows. They went bonkers over those freeze-dried minnows. Right now, they've been playing with these. They really don't quite know what to do with the lollipops. They have this solid, hard top that's a round ball of, I don't know what they use to stick it all together, but it's tight, condensed lollipop of catnip. But that stuff, they don't quite get that they should probably lick it. And then the the handle, the stem part is silvervine, which they love that. It's quite thin though. They've broken a couple of those where they've bit them and they've snapped in half. So I've had to take the pieces away so that they didn't choke on it, because when it broke in half, then it's only like that long. So so they've gone through one whole bag of those, but one ball found, so they end up having the ball part and they're knocking it around like it's a toy and knock it down the stairs. And they think that's great fun, because I've caught Aragorn and Frodo taking the ball part back up to the top of the steps and knocking it back down again so it bounces. Now, I did find out, though, that when I was in the medical boot, if I stepped on one of those, they crushed pretty good. And once it was crushed, then they all ate it. Right now, they think that ball part's just a toy. They haven't quite figured it out that you're meant to kind of lick the catnip part. But yeah, that boot thing, it's such a, I mean, those medical boots have such a thick base and you can't feel anything if you're stepping on anything. And I didn't know I stepped on anything until I put my full weight to step forward, and suddenly I went and dropped like an inch. And that's when I realized I had looked down and there was little bits of it everywhere. I just crushed that poor thing. So, yeah, I didn't know that was going to happen either, Nora, about the stem. It's just the fact that what they did for the handle, those pieces are actually so thin that they're able to, and I haven't figured out which ones. Aragorn and Gimli definitely are able to bite it and crack it, to crack the stick. I don't know that Elrond and Arwen are, because they're smaller, and I'm not sure about Aragorn, because I just know Aragorn loves to play with them and knock them around. Frodo, though, I know bit one in half. Gimli bit one in half. Aragorn might have. So I never thought of that. If they figure out how to get it to break, is put it in Mom's way. Good night, Lisa. Right now, the kitties have all quieted down, so I'm guessing they're either asleep on my bed or they're asleep on Michael's bed or in his room. His room's the warmer bedroom, so they're probably in there. Yeah, they're mostly just playing with it, except for that one where I accidentally crushed it, and then they were all over it. Except Frodo. Frodo doesn't really care for catnip. I don't think it really has any effect on him either. The other ones definitely has an effect on Gimli. I had a little bit, and I didn't know I had any left because it's hard to find it in my area. The straight up Meow Joanna. They have a bunch of different blends, but there's one that's just Meow Joanna. It's just catnip. And I don't know what it is about that brand, but it is definitely the strongest catnip out there. And I only gave him like a little bit because there was only about an inch left in this tube. And the tube's like the size of a cigar tube, just shorter, is not very big. And he had a little bit of that stuff, maybe a quarter of a teaspoon. And those eyes were so dilated, and he just kept looking around and looking back and forth at the ceiling. And all Mike could think of was that meme that shows a cat that's really wild on catnip, looking with the eyes real wide and saying, "I can see dragons." And he's like, "You think that's what he's seeing? He's watching dragons fly around the room?" Because he was out of his gourd. It was so funny because it affects him. Aragorn takes it and he gets a little loopy, like he kind of moves real slow, and then he falls asleep. And then he's just out cold. So it's sort of like my brother Gary with a beer. He'll drink half the beer and then he goes to bed. Hi, Marcy. See, I'm still remembering to drink water. So That's hard to do in the wintertime because you don't think you're sweating, so you don't think you need water and you forget. But you need water all year long. So, uh, so yeah, that's those idiots with catnip. Let's see, what is the other news from here? I've been reading a lot. I finally finished that book that I had, the advanced reading ones of oh yeah, you could teach them a lot if you find a treat they really like. Catnip or like Lisa sent them some freeze-dried minnows and absolutely went bonkers over that. So I've really got them all to finally learn to sit, because before it was just Elrond, Gimli, occasionally Frodo. But even Arwen figured it out that if sitting down, and she was the last holdout, if sitting down meant getting one of those freeze-dried minnows, she would sit. She actually finally learned to sit on command, because that has been a thing like from the start, because I don't want them under my feet when I'm trying to put the cat food in their bowls, because that's how kitties get stepped on, especially when I got a medical boot on. So for me, I say sit and get to your spots. Get to your spots, sit. So they have a certain lineup, and that's where their bowls are, and they will line up in that order, because it's always Gimli, Frodo, Aragorn, Elrond, Arwen. That's specific, because then if the doctor comes in, she'll only tolerate Arwen being that close to her. She will not tolerate the boys being that close to her. So had to have Arwen on the end as a buffer. So yeah, this is a little bit of chat time for another 10 minutes, because knowing that I may have to take Gary to the ER in the morning, we're just going to stay until midnight, and then I'm going to go to bed. So but I finished The Heat Will Kill You First, which was a freebie. It was an advanced reading copy that I won off of a Goodreads giveaways. I'm working on Red, White, and Royal Blue, which Netflix, is it Netflix or Prime, made a movie out of it. Gary's been getting weaker and weaker. He had a transfusion like just a couple days before Thanksgiving, but it only lasted for a couple of days, and then he was back to feeling really lethargic. And it's just slowly been, he'd feel bad for a couple of days, but then he'd feel good for a couple of days, and then, but the last week, well, since just before New Year's, he started looking really pale and sleeping a lot. But now he's feeling really achy and tired and more tired, and now he's not eating. And I could not convince him yesterday or today, let me take you to the ER. Because, people say, well, you should just tell him he needs to go. Well, unless you have legal power of attorney over healthcare, you can't force somebody to go. And even then, I don't know that they'd keep him, because he could just say, no, I don't want to be treated. And so you can't always get an adult to do what they need to do. It's not like a kid. You can say, hey, or you're grounded. You can't do that with another adult. And so he finally agreed tonight that he wanted to get a good night's sleep in his own bed. And then tomorrow, if he still feels like this, which I'm sure he will, because he's eaten hardly anything, I got him to eat 2 scrambled eggs this morning. I don't know what he ate for dinner, because he said he was picking at it, and he didn't let me see the bowl, so I didn't say. So he's in the late stages of Crohn's disease, and he doesn't eat right, has never eaten right. So I honestly wonder if he's not to the point where his body is malnutritioned, because he's also dropped an amazing amount of weight. He's very, very skinny. Doesn't look good. He's as white as a sheet of paper today. So he definitely, none of this doctor's appointment. He needs to be seen in an ER. So if he said he finally agreed, he would go tomorrow morning. So, and he's one of these ones that, would wake up at 5 a.m. to be at work at the factory at 6. So I'm going to need to be up Gary's one of the reasons I got the house. It wasn't just because I had custody of Michael, which is a kid from another brother of ours. But it's also because Gary could be a poster child for Asperger's syndrome. Asperger's is an illness where you just don't pick up on social cues. He dresses like he's homeless, and he thinks that's okay. That if they're going to judge me by how I look, then they're not the kind of person I want to talk to anyway. Well, dude, the whole world judges people on how they look. That's just how it works. Basic niceties of how close you stand to somebody when you talk to them. He had to be taught that. Mom said she used to grab him by the shoulders and go, take a step back. You're too close when you talk to somebody. But she had to actually teach him that. So I had a scout that I had to do that with. And once I understood and started learning what Asperger's was, it really is. You just don't pick up those social niceties that we all kind of just do automatically. So, and then he, at one point had a car accident that put him through the windshield of his pickup truck. And that did brain damage. So, basically what I have is I have a brother who's 8 years older than I am that's functioning adult, but in some ways functions like a 15-year-old as far as some of the judgment skills. And so I got the house because Gary came with the house. And I wouldn't mind, except that I was never asked. And that pissed me off for a lot of years. Really did. My sister knew, our eldest brother knew, our mother knew, but not a one of them ever said duh to me about it. I should have been asked. I wouldn't want him out on the street. And I know our brothers and my sister were not going to take him. So I would have said yes. I should have had the courtesy of being asked. I was never told I was getting the house for that very reason. So I finally got over that and realized that, it's one of those things where you look at something and you go, yeah, the way it happened wasn't good or it wasn't right, but it really is the best thing to work out because he does pay rent. It's not a lot, but it's at least something. He'd never get rent around here for under $600. But he's got a rent because he's on a fixed income because he's on Social Security disability. And so that helps me, but it also helps him. So it's very much a symbiotic, we help each other kind of thing. So it's worked out in the long run. I just was really bitter for a long, long time because I was never even asked. So it took 2020 when everything shut down and you're really stuck at home with everybody. It really took some introspection during that period that really made me realize that, it probably is for the best. And I have said yes. And then I realized, yeah, you idiot, you would have said yes. You're just annoyed because you were never asked. But that was typical in our family. She's the youngest, just take her along. But you wouldn't tell me till the day before we were leaving? No. So I try to take care of him, but you can't always take care of another adult. You can only do so much. It's up to them. We're each responsible for our own health. No matter how much a family member may try to help us, we have to make the choice to do it for ourselves, or it's just not going to work. So I'll roll with it and deal with it and do what I can. So tomorrow it'll mean taking a book. I have Mike's copy of Red, White, and Royal Blue. Red, White, and Royal Blue is a romance book, but the two protagonists happen to be male. One is the President of the United States' son, and the other is the second prince in line for the throne of England. Now, the movie that's on, it's either on Prime or on Netflix, because we watched the movie. The movie was really cute and really funny. And it has Stephen Fry in it. I will watch anything that has Stephen Fry in it. Because he plays the king. He gets to play the King of England. So, but I'm reading the book now to see how they see. No, Mike's not my biological. Technically, Mike is my nephew, but I've had custody since he was 2. So I used to tell him growing up that he's lucky in that he has 3 parents who love him very much. He has his mom and his dad and me. And even though your parents have problems, sometimes adults do things that are stupid and they get in their own way. That doesn't mean they don't love you. You just can't live with them. And I think that is why he turned out to be such a well-adjusted kid, because he never, ever felt like a parent didn't want him or that their drug addiction was his fault. Which I can't say the same for his older half-brother, because that guy is a statistic. He's been in and out of jail several times. And come on, Aragorn, come on. Ugh, big boy. And I was determined that Mike wasn't going to be a statistic. So he's my son because I raised him. But at no point was he ever not Roy and Joanne's son. And his mom died from drugs when Mike was only 7. And Roy did his best, and that finally got him. Oh, you want to go down now? You go claw me to get my attention, and now you're going to go down. That got Roy to go away for a couple of months to a rehab and get himself straightened out. But yeah, technically he's not my biological child. He's a nephew. But you know, when you raise a kid from when they're 2, he's now 29. Where the hell did the time go? He's now 29. You're hoping to come sleep with me, aren't you? Come on. Come say hello to everybody. So this little bugger, I sleep with a heating pad under the blanket because my room's coldest room in the house, because my room, the floor of my room gets so cold because it's attached to that kitchen porch roof that the tree limb broke. So there's a big air gap out there. So it makes my room extra cold. And so I have a heating pad that I stick down under the blankets down near my feet. Well, he's figured out this spot's really warm. So this little stinker, if he gets in there, he'll stay just far away from me so that I can't catch him. And so I have no choice but to go to bed with him in the room. And he'll wiggle himself down in between, on top of the blankets, but in between my feet. So he's laying on the heating pad. Little stinker has done this for 3 nights in a row. I don't normally let him sleep with me because most of the time none of them settle down. He will, though, and he'll sleep till about 6 o'clock in the morning and then wake me up that he wants to come out of the room. And I let him out of the room and I shut the door again. But yeah, he wants bedtime. Mom, I want the heating pad. You're not sleeping with me tonight. I can't be, if I try to roll over, I wake up because you have my feet pinned. And I'm going to need sleep tonight because I need to be up with Gary in the morning. But Red, White, and Royal Blue, the book, of course, the book's a little bit different. I like how they streamline things for the movie. But it is the 2 protagonists are happen to be 2 young men, but one being the son of the president of the United States and the other being the second second in line for the heir to the throne after his brother. Just made it interesting. It's really interesting how they've played that out. And I'm not a big romance person, so I'm more interested in how they've done the plot line around it. But I'm reading that, and I'm reading Future Shock, which was a nonfiction book put out in the 70s about how fast technology was changing and how things in the world were changing because of advances in technology, that some people were having a hard time adjusting to such quick change. Now, this was written in the 70s. And with the advent of, at that point, these are people who saw things change to television and phones, and the automobiles changed a great deal, and television changed a great deal. It became very common. And you were seeing computers and men go into space and land on the moon. And it was a lot of technology changes in the 60s and 70s. And it's about, how to navigate through as a culture. And is it really, it was considered an actual psychological problem of future shock, mostly with older people who'd grown up, because the world had changed so much they couldn't recognize it as what they grew up in. And I had to laugh because I think that term, we're going to start hearing it again, because I've only 3 chapters into that book, because it's one of those where you read a chapter and then you need to put it down because you need to think about what you just read. So I usually have 2 or 3 books going at the same time. And I realized already, I'm 3 chapters in, that we may see another period like that, because we're seeing AI and robotics take over so much. And algorithms control so much of what we see. We're really at another point where the technology is adapting and changing faster than we're perhaps ready to deal with. So I've had the book for ages. It might be time to finally read this. I found the book today too that I had that was it's a whole book that's I can't think of the actual title of it, but it's college reading list, because my school background was 5 years in Southern Baptist Christian schools for junior high and half of high school. I wasn't allowed to read Shakespeare. You could read Mein Kampf for history, but I wasn't allowed to read Shakespeare. Most of it was Christian literature, which was fine. But you couldn't read any mythology books either. A lot of stuff and references to some of these things are in our culture. So I felt very keenly a great gap in my education by not knowing things like Robinson Crusoe, not knowing who Romeo and Juliet, who was Hamlet. I got into college not knowing who Hamlet was. So I had started, to just pick books that were common on some of the reading lists and start reading them. And so it did fill in a gap. And Future Shock is on for nonfiction on a couple of the lists that are from they took the top 100 colleges and asked for them to submit reading lists of what they think a well-rounded student from their college should have read, either before or while they were in college. Some of those lists are huge. Others, it's like, 1 page. Yeah, we have these different authors and we want you to read one of. So I have Future Shock going. And then I have a graphic novel. I just finished Kumama, which is about a Japanese artist. But I have another graphic novel. Oh, I can't remember what the title is. I like graphic novels simply because they're really interesting. They're pretty fast reads, but they're a different level from a comic book, because they're usually a really good story to them. I did notice our library just got the Iliad and the Odyssey condensed versions as graphic novels. So I'm interested in getting those out and seeing what they did to those. But they're nice when you just want a nice quick read. And there's some very good Thief of Baghdad, or not Thief of Baghdad, Pride of Baghdad was a really cool graphic novel. And it's a story that I remember seeing on the news, that during the bombings for Desert Storm, for the first Desert Storm, they actually had hit the zoo and a lot of animals escaped. Well, there was a pride of lions, and the lions had escaped out into the city. Now, a lot of it was rubble, but they eventually, unfortunately, ended up not being able to capture them. They ended up having to shoot and kill the whole pride. But the story is about, from the lion's point of view of the pride of Baghdad. And that one was a really interesting story. It's just what happens to these poor animals when war happens. And they end up freed in a man's world. They're just as scared as we are of them. I found that one really interesting, and that one won quite a few awards. So, look, he's going to sleep. Going to sleep. So they keep me busy. I've been trying to read a bunch of books so that I can get them out of here. I had a book that apparently was a series of Chekhov books from 1900s. I didn't know Anton Chekhov wrote anything other than plays, and it was a bunch of short stories. They were all very, very good. I like them better than I do some of those plays. But that's one that I'll read once, and I probably won't be reading again. So that's in the box to go to whoever has the book sale, whatever library's having their book sale closest to the time when I get that box filled, because I had just given 2 bags to one library, so now I'm starting on a small box. So I'm going to go. It is 11 after. Thank you all very much for coming. For those of you who've come in late, please, by all means, watch the replay. If you like what you saw, I'm going to be doing sales every other week. Usually, though, they're not on Saturday nights, because I know Trisha of Sandy and Otto is usually on Saturday nights. Usually, I'm on Thursday night. There was a little hiccup. If for some reason I have to postpone, since I'm just starting physical therapy for my left foot, if on a Thursday I really just can't maneuver, like this past week, because therapy has just done such a number on my leg, then it would be postponed to Saturday night, and I, of course, would make an announcement to that effect. They do expect me to recover quickly, because instead of being at physical therapy as soon as I was diagnosed with planters, because I wasn't at a regular primary care, I was with a sports medicine doctor. He recommends, because he sees people that are runners get this, and he makes them stay off of it for 2 months before they ever start physical therapy. And so a lot of the swelling is all gone except when they aggravate it. And that's a plus. So they think that just with the stretches, I should get the mobility back pretty quickly. And I said, define pretty quickly. And they went, well, maybe 2 months as opposed to 6. I'll take it. I'll take it. 6 months would be summer camp. I don't want to deal with this at summer camp. But these early days of physical therapy, I will keep you posted on Thursdays. Right now, next Thursday should be a chat. And because of dealing with Gary tomorrow, there won't be a pop-up of work with me or a drop sale. I'm not quite there yet to do drop sales yet. So have a good night. I thank you all for the thumbs up. If you're seeing me for the first time, by all means, hit subscribe. Watch some of my old videos. There's one that tells you how I ended up with an overstuffed house. And the clean out that I just did in October added a little more. But we're working our way through that too. I really do need to get the bookcases out of my car. So they've been in the back seat since October. Gary wasn't happy. Too bad. So have a good night. For those of you getting weird weather, stay safe and stay dry. All right? Have a good night, everybody. Bye.